Let's discuss these latest developments now with Mohamad Elmasry, who's a professor of media studies at the Doha Institute for Graduate Studies. Thank you, Mohamad, for joining us on Al Jazeera. Let's start with Lebanon and the ceasefire there. We knew that it was going to be a fragile one from the start, and it's proving to be the case with these reports of violations. Do you think it can hold, or are we in danger of a return to a full-blown conflict?
Well, one of the things I did last night was I went back and looked at previous ceasefires, and there's a long history. And don't ask me to recount all the details because it's a long and convoluted history. But the long and the short of it is this. There's a very long history of Israel violating ceasefires and then blaming the other side, whether Hezbollah or Hamas. And we're already starting to see that. So that is one of the worries here. I think that's one of the things that leads us to say that this is tenuous and precarious.
Right.
However, I will say that there is a lot of incentive for both sides to continue forth with this ceasefire. And so one would like to think that those incentives will propel us forward. But it's just too early to say right now. We're on day 3 of 60. So let's see how it proceeds.
Yeah, and at this point, as Zain was saying, we have this 5-member committee, the U.S., France, UNIFIL, the Israeli sides, the Lebanese government as well, trying to reinforce this agreement, this ceasefire. But it seems that the Israelis are giving themselves the right to interpret the agreement and enforce it the way they see fit, and they're not waiting for anyone really to say whether there was a violation or not. Mm-hmm. You say there's an incentive for both sides. What is the incentive today for Israel?
Well, the incentive for Israel is, as I was saying a few minutes ago, kind of offset, I actually think that this has been more of a success for Israel than it has been a failure. And people have talked, and I've been following some of the reports and some of the analyses, people have talked about how this is kind of a victory for Hezbollah. And I do see that Hezbollah achieved some successes here. And if there's time, we can go through them. But I think more, this has been a success for Israel. Number one, Israel is going to be able to continue to attack Gaza unimpeded, right? That's what they've wanted from the start. They didn't actually want to go to war with Hezbollah. Hezbollah is the one that said they are going to defend the Palestinians by attacking Israel, and they said that they would not stop until Israel stopped attacking Gaza. So now Israel is kind of, as the dust is settling, or we think it's settling, Israel is going to get what it wants. That's number one. Number two, Israel is going to be able, ultimately, the wheels are already in motion, they're going to be able to get their residents back home to the north, which is one of their other goals. Mm-hmm. And then number three, they've been able to decimate the Hezbollah leadership structure. So I think there's a lot of incentive for Israel to continue on this path.
And the new reality of Hezbollah being further north of the Litani River, what does that mean for the stability of Lebanon? And you talked about this being more of a quote-unquote victory for Israel rather than Hezbollah. What does it mean for the future of Hezbollah within Lebanon today?
I think it's too early to start to speculate on that. I don't think Hezbollah is going anywhere. I think many Lebanese realize that the Lebanese military is not in a position to defend Lebanon against threats, including against Israel. So I don't think you're going to see the disarming of Hezbollah anytime soon. I think they're going to regroup. And this business about them being north of the Litani, it's significant in some ways. But also, we have to remember that they have rockets that can strike deep inside of Israel, regardless of whether they're north or south of the Litani River.
Right. Now, of course, we can't lose sight of Gaza, the war on Gaza, which is still continuing with continuing Israeli bombardment across the Strip. Some analysts have said that perhaps the reason why Israel would have agreed to this ceasefire in Lebanon was to allow them more room to maneuver in Gaza and do what they want in Gaza. Do you think that is the case today? What does the future hold for Gaza? Can the deal in Lebanon be a step towards achieving also a deal in Gaza?
I don't see that. I think, as I said a minute ago, I mean, Israel wasn't, from the start of this 13 months ago or 14 months ago, they weren't looking for a war with Hezbollah. Their prize is Gaza. They want to effectively destroy Gaza, ultimately, so that they can cleanse Gaza, ethnically cleanse it, depopulate the Strip, and then resettle it in the coming years. That's what they want. And so I think they are going to focus now on Gaza. They don't have the distraction in the north with Hezbollah. They don't have to worry about that threat, and they can redeploy and redistribute troops as they see fit. And if you look at their statements, there doesn't seem to be any indication that they plan to stop this war on Gaza anytime soon, and it doesn't seem that the United States is going to force Israel to stop anytime soon, unfortunately.
Mohamad Elmasry, always good to get your thoughts on the situation in the region. Thank you so much for joining us. Mohamad Elmasry from the Doha Institute of Graduate Studies.
Make sure to subscribe to our channel to get the latest news from Al Jazeera.